Hi, I'm James, 1/3 of Trading the Market, and in this video I will be sharing a low risk and long-term profitable trading strategy that will only take a few minutes on each trade. Sounds interesting? Well, let's get into it. Yes, I said it. Low risk, long-term profits? I'm assuming I have your undivided attention, and later in this video I will share my spreadsheets using this trading strategy. But first of all, let's take a look at the market we will be using to make our profit at a lower risk than many other trading strategies. As you can see on screen, I am currently looking at the over/under 3.5 goals markets. Most traders don't even entertain this market and stick to the more common over/under 1.5 and 2.5 goals markets. Forget these markets and follow me on a journey. A journey where we can increase our likelihood of profitability, providing you stick to what I'm about to tell you. Greed is a powerful enemy of bettors and traders, and as always, self-discipline is key. I repeat this often, but small and steady is the key to success. Many greened up trades lead to a large and healthy bank, whereas large stakes and gung-ho trades often lead to losses and an unhealthy bank. Just ask Canberra. So now I will show you a very simple way to profit in a short space of time, with an added low risk cushion that won't wipe out your bank if it were to go against us. This strategy involves laying the over 3.5 goals market. Now for most traders you will know what a lay bet is, but for those that don't, laying basically means we don't want something to happen. So in this case we are saying over 3.5 goals in this game won't happen. We are not interested in the end result. We are only interested in a short period of time or portion of the match, usually anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes of it and no more. Lay it, leg out, green up, and then move on. The parameters I have set for this strategy are as follows. We want to find football matches that are 0-0 in scoreline after 10 minutes played, with a slow start. Ideally with as little shots or attacking action as possible. These are not always easy to find, and there is some wiggle room with this. Bear in mind, an uneventful match will see the odds move faster, and an action-packed match will see the odds fluctuate up and down and also move very slowly indeed. We are looking at odds to lay in the range of 0.3 to 0.4 after 10 minutes of the start of the match. This is easy to find if you head over to football and at the top of the fixtures on Betfair and filter the markets at over/under 3.5 goals. Then scroll down and look at matches that are 10 or so minutes in. Once you have found a match that fits the criteria of 0.3 to 4, we can check the in-game stats. In many of our other videos we reference www.sofascore.com, which is a great free-to-use website that gives key stats such as attack momentum of both teams and also shows up-to-date in-play stats of the match so far. If we find a match with a slow and quiet start, none or not many shots on target and attack momentum being low for either side, and the odds between 0.3 to 4 on the over 3.5 goals market, we can then lay the over 3.5 goals for a stake you are comfortable with. Here at TTM we never promote using large stakes, and for the purposes of this video, like all our other videos, I will use stakes in the examples later on that the average trader would use. Showing smaller stake trades in our videos also allows us to show you what the likely profit you would make also. So often you're shown how to make £500, but you need a bank of 10k to trade it, not at TTM. The longer there are no goals and no action, the quicker these odds will drift in our favour. When we have a 0-0 scoreline and no action after 10 minutes played, with these two parameters combined, we will then lay the over 3.5 goals market. Once matched, this is where our discipline comes into play. We need to tell ourselves 10 minutes or less is our window for this trade, preferably less. Any longer and we are leaving ourselves open to greater and greater risk. Once we hit the 6 to 10 minute mark, this is where we should start thinking of exiting completely. We will then trade out for whatever profit is offered to us and move on to the next trade. Lay it, leg out, green up, and then move on. Rinse and repeat, so to speak. Simple. Now if we are locked into a trade and a goal is scored, although we will take a loss, this won't be detrimental to our original stake. On average, a goal will see us lose 20 to 30% of our liability, whereas on the over/under 2.5 market, this could be anywhere up to 50 to 65% of your liability. My advice would be to take the loss straight away and move on, as you will have more profitable trades than losses in the long run, and a smaller loss is less likely to wipe out your entire bank. Staying in after a goal and then another goal coming will then take your losses anywhere up to 50 to 70% of your liability. This is because we will now have 2 goals scored out of the 4 we said wasn't going to happen. Always trade out for a loss after the first goal and move on. The best way to minimise your risk and liability even further is to leg out of your position. Once your lay bet is matched, you then place your back bets to reduce your liability over time. Then if a goal was to be scored, we will lose less and less of our liability over the time of your 10-minute trades. So let's say we lay over 3.5 goals at decimal 3.5 for £50. This will give us a liability of £125. If a goal was scored in the 15th minute after 5 minutes of entering the trade, we could potentially lose £30 of our liability. This is due to an early goal and there being a sizable portion of the match left to have 3 more potential goals to come. So once the lay bet is matched and we are locked into our trade, we will then put in 5 back bet orders of £10 at odds a few ticks higher each time. So in this example we laid £50 at decimal 3.5. We would then put 1 back order at decimal 3.7, the second back order at 3.9, the third at 4.1, a fourth at 4.3, and finally the fifth at 4.5, and then fully trade out. Then each time our back bets are matched, as the odds drift, we reduce our liability and pull back our original stake amount until the last back bet is matched and we are left with our profit to trade out with. You can choose how many ticks to leg out for, and the tick values I have referenced are just an example, albeit a good one. If we do get stung by a goal whilst in the process of getting our back orders matched, at least a 20-30% loss on the liability will only affect the remaining amount, which will dramatically reduce any losses incurred. On average, a successful trade out will result in a profit of 10-20% of our entered lay stake, and for a few minutes trading with a potential full 10-minute trade, the rewards are well worth the time. This will dwarf any profits you are liable to make on the under 2.5 goal strategy that most traders are so used to trading at the beginning of a match, as we are trading in a higher odds range and receiving more bang for our buck, so to speak. Liquidity, as always, is important. You can use this strategy on any football matches provided the in-play stats say so, but if liquidity is low, the odds can move slowly and also fluctuate as fewer traders can dictate the odds movement. My advice is to find over 3.5 markets with 10k or above matched, just to be sure the odds move smoothly, and you can also get your own orders matched with ease. There is nothing worse than being locked into a trade and the odds are all over the place. Your orders take forever to get matched and you increase your risk or then trade out for next to nothing. This strategy is such a profitable one when executed correctly, and even laying with £10 stakes will see a return on average of £1 to £2. This may not seem like much, and in the grand scheme of things it isn't, but 5 successful trades a day at £10 lay stakes is anywhere from £7 to £10 profit a day. That is £50 to £70 a week and £200 to £280 a month, and more than £3,000 a year. Not too shabby for a few minutes trading on each match. Laying at £100 stakes is £70 to £100 a day in profit, albeit your liability will be higher due to an increased stake value, but a higher lay stake will mean you can spend even less time in the trade to make a profit and reduce your risk even further. You could shorten your total time to 5-minute trades with a larger lay stake. When trading this myself, I have a 5 to 8 minute window and then trade out completely. The profits will soon start to mount up and your bank will grow over time. Yes, granted, we will incur losses on the way, and they are unavoidable for the most part. A goal will always come and set us back a bit, but legging out will reduce the sting when it does happen, unless you're seriously unlucky enough to lay it and seconds later a goal is scored. The key to this trading strategy is your discipline when it comes to the amount of time spent within the trade, and also taking a loss and trading out after one goal. I've seen many traders in a trade thinking they can pull the loss back completely or reduce the amount by half by waiting, only to have another goal come along and increase their loss percentage even further. Now, waiting for the odds to settle for a minute or so after the first goal in the long run will not hurt you and will bring the loss down slightly, but my advice would be to take the hit and move on. Yes, a loss will always sting, but the profits will far outweigh those intermittent stings. So let's quickly recap on the parameters for this strategy before we jump into some live examples. Number 1. Look for football matches with a 0-0 scoreline after 10 minutes. 2. 0 or close to no shots on target. 3. Odds between decimal 3 and 4 on the over 3.5 goals market. 4. Lay the over 3.5 goals market. 5. Place back bet orders waiting to be matched. 6. Stake only what you're comfortable with. 7. Max trade time of 10 minutes. Your discipline is key. 8. Trade out. 9. Move on. And finally, number 10. When losses do occur, trade out immediately. If you follow these 10 steps to the letter, this will be very profitable for you in the long term. It has been for me over many years. I have traded over 1,000 football matches using this trading strategy, and in relation to how simple this can be, here at TTM we consider this one of our bread and butter strategies. Let's get into some live examples of this trading action, and you can see just how simple this is to put into practice. So let's head over to Betfair. Looking at this screen, I always feel at home. So here we are in the 7th minute of a match from the Australian A-League between Newcastle Jets and Western United. I have been keeping an eye and watching the match on the live feed from Betfair. Now, there have been a couple of opportunities for Newcastle Jets, but nothing spectacular has happened so far. As I mentioned previously, there is some wiggle room for choosing matches. As long as the match isn't end-to-end, it's a viable option. As you can see, there is over 10k matched on this market, which will help with liquidity. And also, on the over 3.5 market, the odds sit at decimal 3.05 to lay, and we are in the 9th minute, although Betfair is telling us we are just into the 8th minute. I'll quickly jump over to sofascore.com to double check the in-game stats and attack momentums, just to be sure this match will fit my criteria. As you can see below, Newcastle Jets have had the majority of the attack momentum. Looking at the statistics, this shows the Jets are dominating possession and have had one shot on target. As I have been watching the game itself, I am very confident to go ahead and place a lay bet on this match. We are now into the 10th minute of the match, so I will go ahead and lay the over 3.5 goals market. Clicking the lay price at decimal 3.1, I will place a lay stake of £20, leaving me with a liability of £42. With not much money at decimal 3.1 to get matched with, I may have to wait a few seconds. And as you can see, I've only been partially matched, so I'll have to wait and see if anyone takes my remaining £16 odd. And there we are, I'm fully matched and locked into my trade. Now it's time to set the back bets to leg out and reduce my liability until I can trade out. I will speed this segment up slightly to show me placing my 4 back bet orders of £5 at decimal 3.2, 3.3, 3.4 and finally 3.5. And whilst doing this, you can see the odds are already drifting and leaving me with a trade out profit. With the last back bet waiting to be matched, now you can see I have already been matched on the first 2 and partially on the 3rd back bet, which has reduced my liability already, and this is just after a couple of minutes. I'll just wait to get them all matched and then I can trade out. Now, the final back bet is matched. I've completely regained my liability and I'm left with £5 on the over 3.5 market, which you could leave there as a free bet if you so wished. As this is not part of the strategy, I will trade out for what is being offered, which is a profit of £1.40 after only a maximum of 4 minutes, I believe. Yeah, it might not seem much, but this is a greened up trade after only a few minutes of time. As I said previously, using larger stakes that you are comfortable with will bring larger profits in a short space of time, and this is exactly what I do day after day. Now, the moment most of you have been waiting for. Well, when I say most of you, I mean the keyboard warriors in the comments section, demanding I tell you my P&L. Well, here is my P&L for the last 12 days of this strategy. As you can see, it's been very successful for me, and it's one I like using. I am sure you have 246 questions about this, and luckily for you, we have a Discord server where you can ask every single one of them, direct to us. We will answer everything we can. The Discord server is our community and you are all welcome to be a part of it and join us in the chat rooms. We have people who are new and starting out to people who quit the 9 to 5 to do this full time and do it well. Unlike the forums and groups you might have been part of before, this is something new. It's like-minded people having a laugh and supporting each other. The only time someone will look down on you is to give you a hand up. The link for the group is in the description and you're welcome to come and join us now. We have weekly Q&A sessions where you can ask your questions to us at TTM. Looking back at the P&L sheet, you can see the entry point and exit point for each trade and how long I was in the trade for. I did overrun a couple of trades past the 10-minute mark, but this is because life got in the way. I can't stress enough how you need to be out by the 10-minute point. Feel free to pause the video and look over the trades in more detail. It's always a good idea to keep a record of the trades you make in detail. This can be done in Excel, or if you don't have a laptop or office, then you can do this on your computer or phone. Using Google Sheets, we recommend this due to the fact it is free and you can see it's what I have used to make this P&L sheet for you to view. Drop us a comment on what you trade on the football and which country you're watching from. We would be interested to know where our subscribers are from, and if you're not subscribed yet, my only question is why. I've been James. This has been the over 3.5 goal strategy and we are all trading the market. Until next time, happy trading.